I'm Eric Stark, back for another week of talking Lancaster-Lebanon League football. Got my LL League insider with me, Ed Gruver. Week 8 is past us. We've got 2 weeks to go in the regular season. What are your biggest takeaways from Week 8?
Wilson continues to march on.
Yeah.
They beat a good Manheim Township team last week, beat him by 2 touchdowns. Shane Dancer, one of the best running backs in the district, I think, without question. And, Penn Manor will have their hands full Friday night trying to stop him. Todd Mealy told me he's the best running back that they'll face, probably playoffs included.
Wow. But usually when you have a good running back, you've got a good offensive line. They've shown that.
Hand in hand.
And, the quarterback there is still putting up some decent
Jake
numbers,
Templin,
too.
Yeah, very good.
I know we one of our own, Tim Gross, was there earlier, and he was very impressed as the best team he's seen this year. And they're going to be very good.
Well,
they're tough out.
And they're the top seed in Quad A in the district. So, they're supposed to be a down year for them, but it's turning out to be another typical Wilson season, undefeated so far.
They'll go far, probably into districts, but states. They'll run into some Catholic school, some city school, and that'll be,
Well, they've got the Section 1 championship this week at Penn Manor, which should be a good game. I expect that to be one of the top games of the week.
We'll get into that more in a moment. Other takeaways from this week?
Central Cocalico. I thought Cocalico played very well. Kudos to their sophomore quarterback, Brady Sawyer. Steps in for Dante Haynes, who got injured early, and Sawyer sees his first extended time of the season, extended varsity playing time, and help lead Cocalico to a 26-24 win.
Biggest thing I'm thinking of is Central couldn't get back up. I thought that was going to be an easy win for them. They beat LS the week before. LS beats Cocalico. It seemed on homecoming for the Barons they could not get up for another big game. It came back to haunt them.
Yeah, I think Central the week before was at an emotional peak against LS, and I think that showed. And they had difficulty matching that in the first half against Cocalico. They did get it going in the second half. Tucker Ford returns the third quarter kickoff for 95 yards for a touchdown, and Central's right back in it. But again, credit to Cocalico, they were able to withstand Central's surge and pull out the win.
Section 3, another big game. Northern Lebanon, Anvil, Cleona. What was your takeaway from that one?
I was surprised that I had picked Anvil Cleona to win. I thought it'd be a close game, and it was. I thought that Anvil Cleona's defense would be the difference maker. It turns out that Northern Lebanon, with Isaac Ray and Dominic Trader, able to put 32 points on the board, which kind of surprised me. Anvil has a very good defense, but I guess that says a lot about Northern Lebanon's offense that they were able to score that many points.
Yeah, that was very impressive. Let's look ahead here, Week 9 of the season. There's a lot of games that are going to decide the section title this weekend here.
Again, for the second week in a row.
Yeah. Let's start in Section 1. Wilson at Penn Manor. We briefly talked about this a moment ago. What's the keys to Penn Manor upsetting Wilson? They're one game back right now. Comets need this win to claim a share of it, but they'll get it outright because they would beat them on the tiebreaker.
They have to execute. They have to limit mistakes, limit turnovers. To beat Wilson, coach after coach tells me this. To beat Wilson, you have to play almost a perfect game. Todd Mealy knows this. The other thing that Penn Manor has to do, they have to stop Dancer. He's a driving force of that offense. Stop him, and at the same time be able to put some points on the board with their own offense, with Tanner Erisman and the weapons that they have.
Very good. Let's jump down to Section 3. We'll come back to 2 in a moment. Donegal's got Northern Lebanon. Donegal needs this win this week.
They do. And again, here's another section championship game. Donegal at Northern Lebanon. A lot of playmakers in this game. We talked about Ray. We talked about Trader for Northern Lebanon. Connor Maxwell, running back, linebacker for Donegal. One of the top players in the league. I expect him to have an impact on this game, along with some of the other Donegal kids. A big game for Donegal. They missed out on the playoffs last year, late in the season. This is a chance for them to not only, force a tie for the section lead, but also cement their position in district standings.
Be a three-way tie if they get the win, correct?
Right, with Anvil.
That's going to be on the line.
Yeah.
And we've got Section 3, where 3 teams are actually tied right now for the section lead. LS, Manheim Central, and Cocalico, the usual suspects right now in that section. We've got some big matches. Cocalico at Solanco, Manheim Central at Garden Spot, and Lebanon at LS. Let's start with Central in this one. I think Central's going to come out pretty fired up.
Yeah, I expect Central to be this week at Garden Spot like they were 2 weeks ago at LS. I think Mike Williams already had them in full motivational mode minutes after the Cocalico loss last week.
You noticed that when you were talking to him, you said he seemed fired up.
He had his game face on even after the fact. So I think that they probably had an interesting week of practice this week at Mannheim, and I think I think they'll go up to Garden Spot looking for some redemption. But again, Garden Spot's a good team. Mitch Martin, one of the top players in the league. They're well coached with Matt Zamperini, so not going to be an easy game for either team.
Should be a packed house in New Holland for that one. Going down to Solanco. Solanco's had a good defense this year, and Cocalico's going to go in with relatively a rookie quarterback. As you mentioned earlier, the sophomore, they got a little experience last year and played pretty well in a big situation. But going to Solanco, you need this win. It's going to be a pretty close game, isn't it?
Yeah, and the thing I like about Solanco is their running game. I mean, they're just ground and pound, grinding teams down. Last week, 55 rushes for Solanco. Again, over 200 yards, 267 yards. Actually, it was 43 rushes. Cocalico had 52. So this is going to be a land war, basically, between these two teams. Grind it out. You might see a combination of half a dozen passes.
Good for the sports writer. Back early for that one.
Yeah, that's a sports writer's best friend.
And the last one, Lebanon at LS.
This is going to be completely opposite. This is going to be an air war.
It's going to be an air war. Yeah.
Lebanon's air raid offense that we all know about, and Bear Shank and the Pioneers, who like to go up top as well. So two contrasting games here, but interesting in their own way.
If you look at what next week's matchups are, these teams need to win this week because, Central gets CV. They're going to win that one. You look at some of these matchups next week. This is for the section this week for these guys.
Yeah, and there's a very real chance that these teams will end up,
all tied.
All tied for the section lead.